In this video, I wanted to address why men love unpredictability and whether, I guess, men love unpredictability. So for the woman that actually wrote this question in, this is a great question. As soon as I saw it, I was like, yes, this is a perfect topic to speak about. So yeah, men do love unpredictability. They do and they don't. And there are several seasons in a relationship where unpredictability is going to be of benefit. And like other stages in a relationship where it's not so much of a benefit and it's not something that a man will move towards. So unpredictability can sound like drama or can feel like drama. And that is not the type of unpredictability that I kind of speak about in my videos. Why men fall in love with uncertainty is a video that I also did on my channel. You can check that out and I'll link that in the description below. But drama is very different from unpredictability. Drama is instability, it's playing games, it's trying to do something to get an outcome from a man, which is very unhealthy, and it's the unhealthy masculine. So that is not so much what I'm talking about in my videos. In my videos, I really speak about a woman that has like done a level of inner work so she feels a certain way about herself, and then the things that I talk about and the concepts that I talk about come from this space of it's just innately who you are versus you're trying to be a certain way. Because if you're trying to be a certain way and you're trying to be unpredictable and you're playing games, that is going to work against you with high value men or like masculine energy men, mostly because these men are embodied, meaning that they are integrated in their masculine and their feminine, which means that the feminine is a part of who they are, which is like the intuition. And so when you're dealing with a man that is integrated or embodied in his healthy energy, he's also going to be very intuitive. And so he's going to be able to pick up when a woman is like playing games and using the concepts that I talk about in like for strategy to like get him, and it's going to be off-putting. So just make sure that you do a level of inner work. This is why with all my videos, I can give you all the strategy on how to land a man, but if it's not in conjunction with the inner work, it's not going to really make sense. So yes, men love predictability. And the reason they love predictability, especially healthy men, is because it gives men a certain level of like a challenge in trying to win over a woman. And it makes a man sort of want to pursue, and it gives a man this like excited feeling about a woman. And a lot of men don't get to experience this with a woman because oftentimes we are the one that is like chasing a man, or we like a man even without him having done anything to sort of like win us over. And this tends to get stale for men. It tends to get boring for them. And so when they meet a woman that is presenting herself as a challenge, and it's an organic challenge, which is what I talk about, because when you are, I don't like the words high value, but I know most of you guys know these words, so I'm just going to use them. But a high value person is really just a person that has a lot of confidence. They feel good about themselves, and naturally they bring a lot to the table. That's what makes a person high value. Low value is like taking energy. So a person that doesn't feel good about themselves, is insecure, and doesn't believe they bring a lot to the table, because we all inherently are worthy. Sometimes we just haven't healed enough to understand how worthy we are, right? And so we'll come to the table trying to like take something from a man. So a high value woman or a high value man is just a person that feels confident with who they are and brings a lot to the table. It knows they bring a lot to the table. So when you know you bring a lot to the table, you're not going to put all of your eggs in one basket until you've met the right person. And this is, I guess, male and female. And in this, you're going to, without playing games, be unpredictable with a man, because you're not going to put all of your eggs in his basket, and you're not going to choose him like before choosing yourself, and you're going to be busy and you're going to have different things going on, and you're going to have your own level of standard that like organically then is a challenge to a man. which then he finds like very fascinating. And this is where like men get very excited by this type of woman, because now they're having to like pursue her, and they get excited about her. So when you give a man predictability, it gets boring for a man, because for him it's like, okay, well, there's nothing to conquer here, there's nothing to win over. And even if it satisfies like a man's ego to have won you very easily, it's not something that like sustains him in the long run, because as I always say, men value what they have to work for. And when it comes to like marrying a woman, a man wants to feel that if I'm going to marry this woman, I want to make sure that I have like deep desire and deep interest for her forever. Like, this is the only woman that I want to be with. And the only way to be that way for a man is to be inherently a natural challenge, because that is what keeps a man like pursuing and having like checkpoints to win you over. So oftentimes, like, we get excited when we meet a guy, and there's no unpredictability, and there's no challenge. And initially it can feel like, okay, this is great, and the guy's coming to see me, etc., but he's not invigorated by you. So what will tend to happen is like you're getting excited by all of his advances and like seeing you, etc., but then when it comes down to like wanting a commitment, he's not ready to like pull the trigger on that, because he's bored. He's lost interest. And if he loses interest in you before even making you his girlfriend, he's not going to think about like moving into commitment with you or marrying you, because he wants to be with a woman that he's constantly having to be challenged by. Now, challenge for a man is not, again, games. It's not a woman that is like trying to manipulate a man and like play games with him. It's not anything like that. It's a woman that has high self-worth, feels very good about herself. So she's confident in who she is, and therefore she stands by her own beliefs and convictions. She has a very strong sense of self and character and values, and that makes a man be his best. So men are always going to like want to marry a woman or commit to a woman that they feel makes them better. And when a man feels that with a woman, he feels like challenged by her in a healthy way, he's going to naturally commit to her. So this is the reason I focus on inner work so much. And you can go through my inner work course and my books. All the links are in the description box. Like, the videos are very surface level, like you have to do your inner work, but then on top of the inner work, you have to do the things I say in the course to move into your own level of healing. And maybe I'll do a group coaching program again, but the accountability piece is very important, because oftentimes you don't want to do the inner work. You just want to bypass it to get to the strategy, but you really have to examine your own self to become that woman. If you are not that woman, to get a man to be interested in you and also stay interested in you, because oftentimes we can be married to a man, but we don't feel that the man is like coming toward us. And that usually is because the woman has like let herself go, and she's putting all of like her energy and happiness on the man. And when a man gets married and he feels that, like, then he also he gets bored in a sense, because it's too much importance placed on one thing. Now, this doesn't mean that you don't want to be in a relationship where you want to be with your partner. Of course you do. Like, my partner is my best friend. Like, my husband and I, we're literally best friends, but it's not coming from and I message him even today. Like, I've already called him like 2 times. Like, I heard something on the radio when I was driving home, and I wanted to share that with him. And then I updated him on Mia's like training schedule. So like, I'm always in touch with my husband, but it's not coming from a sense of like neediness. Like, oh my God, I'm so needy and I need his attention, and like, what's he doing? It's just because I heard something on the radio and I want to tell him because I'm going to forget about it, or just like I want to keep him updated, because I always like I could wait until he comes home, but he's my best friend. And because he's my best friend, like, I'm always wanting to keep him updated on things. And so he works the same way with me, where there's like this level of connection. Whereas with him, because he's always like busy and he's like so focused on the task, he might wait to tell me things later on. Like, he's not going to be as messaging me throughout the day at this point in our relationship, because of course he's now focused like on work, etc. So it is different for women. So why I'm saying this is, it doesn't mean that you can't go and message a man, you can't like text message him or update him. It has nothing to do with that. And being mysterious and all these concepts I talk about, again, it comes innately from who you are. So you can send messages, you can be connected, you can do all that, yet a man can still have this sense about you that he can't be an asshole. He can't treat you bad, because you're going to have the strength to walk away. And that combination to a man is very exciting. So the unpredictability factor is something that plays a role in a beginning of a relationship, not so much when you're in the relationship. Men don't want to be with a woman that they feel is like unpredictable or a challenge. Like once you're in a relationship or once you're married, the challenge aspect will come in and will always be at play from a woman's own innate level of strength. So where that ties in is a man always has a sense that you're strong enough to be able to leave if need be. You're not going to put up with shit, right? That's where that comes from. There's no inherent games there. The unpredictability aspect really is something that is important in the beginning of a relationship, where you're not all of your eggs are in a man's basket. And in fact, last night, my husband and I were in bed talking for like a few hours before bed, actually like an hour or so before bed. And we were talking about his younger days when he was playing pro golf. And there was a time where he was like dating 4 women at one time. And he was telling me about the story where my husband like was an athlete, and he had friends that were athletes, and like they played pro baseball. And he was telling me about one of his good friends who had a rotation. And so my husband was like, okay, like let me try this out. And there was one point where he had 4 women that he was talking to or he was dating. And he was saying to me, it was like a headache. I couldn't deal with all the logistics. And he ended up like ending things with them. But what he told me was that because I was asking him questions about like, well, like what happened? Like, why did you end up like ended things with them, etc. And he didn't remember all the details. But one story he told me was where he went to a bar with one of the girls, and she like grabbed his hand and she said something like, okay, so we're girlfriend, boyfriend now. And he said that like immediately, like his energy shifted. And she could sense that that's not what he wanted. And he kind of ended it, because what he said to me was he didn't want to lead her on. So this is where when a man knows that you're there, and most men, when they're not looking to get serious with a woman, they will have a rotation, they will date. And again, every man is different. Like for my husband, he's dated, but handling multiple women for him is not something he would want to do, because for him, it's too much to keep up with like the texting on all that. He's not really a fan of like his attention going in multiple directions. He's a very single focused type of man. But when a man knows that, a woman is ahead of him and there's like no unpredictability, meaning, he could see them whenever he wanted, everything was based on his schedule. And this is just men in general, including, his friends that were pro baseball players. It was like the man had all the cards. And when you do that, and there is no level of unpredictability, so that you're always available for a guy whenever he wants, what happens is he doesn't feel interested. There's no challenge there for a man having to like earn you or work for you. And so this is why I always say in my videos that it's really important to do your own level of inner work, so that you're not putting all of your cards like in one basket, because you need a man to like prove himself to you, and you're not really gonna know how a man is until he's proven himself to you over like a period of time. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Definitely let me know what your thoughts are, and if you have any other ideas that you want me to do videos on. And make sure you check out the Inner Work course as well as the books. They're all linked in the description below. And if you need to speak with me about your specific situation, you can book a call with me as well. I love you, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.